Hi, welcome to Dale McCluskey's Dog Training. On this video, I'd like to discuss a little bit further and more in depth about dominance, what dominance really represents, beyond how it's framed up through with those that take learning theory and exploit it and fail to qualify. The type of influence being established through this learning-based model through conditioning. And there's a parallel here. I want to talk about this a little bit about the parallel between in the human world with parenting and with establishing parental influence and how that does impact, or how that impacts a child's decision making. And because what I show here, those that are leaning on learning theory and taking it out of context, what they're doing is they're ignoring the obvious, even in the human world, with how as parents establish influence through their parental role, how that impacts this decision making of a child, how parental influence impacts behavior issues. And so it's no different. The parallels are the same. I show them through this system of training, through this connection issue that I clearly show. I lift the curtain on this connection, what it represents, and how that also, by establishing meaningful influence through this connection, through how you're connecting with your dog, how that does impact a dog's decision making, how that aligns with diminishment of unwanted behavior. It's very clear. I've established it. I show it. So this whole thing about this connection, what it represents, how it your personality type, how the role that plays with whether you're more of an emotional type of thinker or whether you're more of a confident based type of thinker. I mean, that matters. That really plays an important role. So this whole thing about dominance theory itself, because I show this, the book I've written on the mind and body connection, I go in and I challenge and I confront these issues as to how many dog behavioralists are framing these issues up to make them try to exploit them. What's happening through behavioral science, the positions these people have taken, they've taken and packaged up this whole issue of dominance and try to turn it into some big, bad, evil monster, and they're taking it completely out of context. Because what I show is dominance and influence really amount to the same thing. I mean, that's what they are. They're the same thing, but it comes through this connection. So therefore, again, as you're firming up your parental role, so to speak, just try to think the same thing as parenting. It's the same thing as, look at the issues as if you're trying to be a friend to your child instead of a parent to your child. How does that impact decision making? What sort of issues does that lead to? The parent starts to become, objectified. I mean, the child becomes extremely selfish and self-centered, and therefore they're basically, there's no boundaries established. So that's where the problems start. It's the same type of psychology involved here, but it comes through this connection through nature. It's the same path that it takes. So I just want to talk a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about this whole thing about influence and how this whole issue about learning theory. I really go deeper and peel it back and show how many trainers are not qualifying the type of influence being established between dogs and owners, and they are not connecting the dot between how that influences how the dog's mind is influenced and governed through this pack influence, through this connection. And I'm the first trainer that actually shows this. I actually show the links. I make the connections. I connect the dots, and through the study that I've released, it's very, very clear. I lay the evidence out. So I just want to challenge you to think about this, to step back a little bit and challenge what learning theory really represents, and why, within why people fail. Some people fail and some succeed while following using the exact same methods, and you'll see what I see. You'll see it. You'll be able to see it very clearly, and you also see this agenda take shape too, as to how it's being exploited and misrepresented, all these issues, and how it's basically a circle of self-validation. But you'll see the breakdowns, and you'll see it for what it is, and you'll see why so many people are being deceived, so to speak, through this type of how it's being twisted and manipulated. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope I hope this challenges your thinking a little bit. And again, if you have any questions about the system of training, feel free to contact me anytime. I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Thanks very much.